Hey guys, Free Play Frank. Tonight I've got my inguinal hernia story for you. And then I'm going to play a song by Badfinger, No Matter What. Now, for you guys that don't know, Badfinger was a British band in the late 60s, early 70s, and their crooked manager stole all their money, and it caused their leader, Peter Ham, to take his own life. And then 8 years later, another member of their band also took his life, which is really sad. But they were a great band, and they got cut short. They got their career cut short by crooked, malevolent people. Anyways, okay, my shout out tonight goes to This is Dan Bell. Now, Dan Bell is from Maryland, USA, and he's an urban explorer. He's also an excellent filmmaker. And he goes into abandoned properties and buildings, usually around Maryland and on the east coast of the states. And he's done some really good videography about abandoned properties. There's so many of them in the states because so much stuff in the states shut down when they moved all the manufacturing overseas in the 80s and 90s. But yeah, he's got some really good videos. You guys got to check that out. I mean, if you're into urban exploring. All right, let's get into it. Today we're going to be discussing inguinal hernias. Now, a hernia is when you get a tear in your muscle layer that surrounds your internal organs, and your internal organ starts to protrude out through that tear. So the inguinal hernia is what occurs down in your groin, and there's another type of hernia called a hiatal hernia, which is your stomach extending up through your diaphragm. And then there's one called an umbilical hernia, where your stomach extends out through where your belly button is. But anyways, I got my hernia when I was getting ready to move here 10 years ago, packing up all my machines in the shop and stuff. And it started out as a small bulge on the side of my groin. It was about the size of a golf ball and didn't cause me any kind of discomfort or anything, so I didn't worry too much about it. But after about 2 years, the discomfort had gotten significant to the point where I was having a hard time doing anything physical and the bulge had gotten larger. It had gotten to about the size of half of an apple. So that was when I went online and started doing my research, and I discovered that you can wear support garments to hold the bulge in. So that was when I decided to try that method, and it worked out quite well, actually. It managed to get me another 2 years, but it was far from ideal. I mean, the best solution is to have it fixed with surgery, obviously, but there's a 2 year waiting period for that here in Canada, so I had to do something in the meantime so I could continue to work and be active. And there's also websites where people discuss how you can heal the hernia yourself. And basically what you do is you have to keep the hernia in for about 2 months until the muscle layer heals on the outside of it. And of course, anyone who's tried to do that will find that it's next to impossible unless you lay on your back for 2 months. And I got a farm to look after, and I had a trucking business at the time, and the longest I was able to keep it in was about 2 weeks. So anyways, when I finally did get the surgery, I went in there, and it was like noon when I went in, and they gave me an IV in my arm and a sedative, and I sat there and waited for 2 hours until my turn for surgery came. And they got me up on the table, and basically I closed my eyes and I woke up, and I was in the recovery room, and it was done. And the nurse said, "You're all done." And I'm like, "Oh, great. How did that turn out?" She said, "It went perfectly." And I was, "Oh, okay." So I looked down underneath the covers, and there's about a 6-inch bandage over the area where the hernia was. So, and I wasn't feeling any type of discomfort at all. It wasn't a huge deal. It was just, so I laid there, and they looked after me for about another 2 hours until my ride got there and drove me home. And then the next week or so was pretty dicey. I couldn't do a whole lot. I had to stay in bed most of the time, or lay on the couch, and about 10 minutes every hour I would get up and walk around slow, and I had to be really, really careful how I moved, and I had to be really careful of sneezing or laughing too hard, anything like that, anything that would cause my gut to distend and disturb that area. But after about 6 days, it got to the point where I could walk around and I could get up, and I could go to the bathroom and stuff without worrying about it. And I still couldn't lift anything. You're not supposed to lift anything for a month and a half or so. And then on about the second week, I was starting to go for walks. I went for like a half a mile walk, and I do that every day, and I look after my goats and stuff. And then on about the third week, I was able to do moderate work, like I could get in and out of my truck, I could drive, I could, run my excavator, I could, do that sort of thing, work on my car. I couldn't lift anything more than 20 pounds though. And it took about probably, 4 or 5 weeks before I was up to feeling normal again. And I thought, well, maybe I should try something harder. So I went for a jog. I want to see how that worked, and that went fine. And I went split some firewood, that went fine. So basically, when you get the surgery, the first week is going to be, you have to really take it easy, and then it slowly gets better for about the next 5 weeks, and then you're back to normal. And the only problem that I've really noticed with it is if I get constipated, I can feel that spot, but it's nothing really to worry about. It was like that before. I've been that way most of my adult life, or you know okay, so how to prevent a hernia? The best way to prevent it is to just learn how to lift properly. Like, use your legs, squat down, use your legs, and clench your stomach muscles. Like, don't bend over like, if you're tall like me, don't try to bend over and grab a 50 or 100-pound item. And of course, ask for help if it's too heavy, or get a machine to help you, or if you've got a hoist or a jack, or, don't try to be a hero. That's the main thing. And you can do exercises, like you can do crunches and leg lifts. Those are good. Anything that strengthens your abdominal muscles. But don't expect to be able to heal it by yourself. Though if you live in the States or another country where you have to pay for the surgery, you're going to be a lot more motivated to try and heal it by yourself, obviously. And if you do, then you're basically looking at 2 months of inactivity. Because if it bulges out again, you have to start all over. And then you're always going to have that weak spot. Because you see, the reason why a lot of guys get hernias is because when we're babies, our testicles grow inside our body with the rest of our organs. And when we're born, they drop down into our scrotum. And then there's a natural weak spot in our intestinal cavity that heals. And once we get older and we start playing football and doing hard work and so on, we run the risk of ripping that open again. That's why you always see guys get hernia on the left side of their groin. But so there's not much you can do about that, but except educate yourself. Hopefully you're watching this video because you want to educate yourself, and you're either trying to get rid of a hernia, or you're wondering what to do about it. Or if you're in Canada, there's about a 2-year waiting list for the surgery because it's considered non-essential surgery. So get on that as soon as you can. And while you're waiting for that, you can wear your support garment and you can try and heal it yourself. And if it does work, when they call you for your surgery, you can decline. But basically, if the hernia stays in for 2 months, and then you go and you start working and living your active life again, and it doesn't come out again, you're probably good. Like, you probably are all right. But if you do something really heavy, like your wife wants you to move the fridge so she can clean behind it or something, or you're trying to be a hero and put the engine in your car without a hoist or something like that, you're going to blow it out again probably, because there's that natural weak spot. And when they give you the surgery, they put this liner inside they sew it in between the layers of the muscle. And it's some type like what they make bulletproof vests out of, I think. And it's once you get that in there and your muscle layer heals again, it's like reinforced concrete. I mean, I do every work that I used to do and then some now, and I don't have any problem. I lifted like as much as I can lift 100 times over, and it's, you know, I jog and everything, and it's fine. All the blood flows back to normal. Is another problem that I noticed when in the several months before I had the surgery, was that I wasn't able to get erections anymore because of the hernia was pinching off the blood flow, and that returned as soon as I had the surgery. So that was good. It wasn't affecting my urination at all, or it wasn't making me nauseated or anything like that. But basically, you want to avoid any kind of activity that's going to put undue strain on that area of your groin. So, what else? Can't think of anything else to say about it now, but I mean, if you've got it and you need to get surgery, it's not a huge deal. I mean, it doesn't hurt or anything. You'll be all right. Just be careful that first week. And if you're trying to heal it yourself, best of luck to you. It didn't work for me, but other people claim to have done it. And about the support garment, basically what it is it's a belt that goes around the low part of your waist below your hips, and then there's a strap that goes down in your crotch underneath where the hernia is, and with a pad, and you tighten it up. You put this on when you get up in the morning before you put your clothes on, and you tighten it up so that it's as tight as it can be and still be functional without cutting off your circulation. And the problem with the support garments is they stretch. They stretch out after a while. And if they've got Velcro holding it together, that starts to let go. So after about 2 months, I was putting safety pins to hold mine on and stuff. And then I tried a leather one. And leather is a lot more durable, but it's not very comfortable next to your skin. So if you could find a soft leather or make your own or something like that, or figure out some way, or an old bulletproof vest, I don't know, something that doesn't stretch or give, that would work quite well. But like, try that anyways, and it'll buy you some time until you can get your surgery. Anyways, I hope this helps, and I hope you're finding this helpful, and thanks for watching. Okay, a couple more things. In the weeks before you get ready to go in for your surgery, you should practice turning over in bed without clenching those muscles where the hernia is. Because after you get the surgery, you're going to want to clench those muscles involuntarily, and that's going to hurt. So start a couple of weeks or maybe a month before you go for your surgery, and practice all the movements that you normally make, getting up and down off the chair, turning in bed, all those types of things without clenching those muscle groups. And another thing I noticed as it was healing, in the weeks after it was healing, is I would get these spasms of where the muscle group would clench on its own involuntarily, and that would hurt. And when that happened, I would just put my hands over the area and hold it steady so that it wouldn't bulge. Another thing you got to be careful of is don't cough or sneeze. If you feel a cough or a sneeze coming on, put your hands over the hernia area so that when you cough, it doesn't bulge out, because that's going to hurt after your surgery. And there was one more thing. What the heck? Oh yeah, avoid getting constipated. Go to the bathroom in the morning before you do work as much as you can. Like, do whatever it is that you do so you don't get constipated, and drink lots of water, eat fruit, whatever. And I think that's about it. Okay, good luck.
No matter what you are, I'll always be with you. Doesn't matter what you do, girl, ooh, girl, I'm with you. No matter what you do, I'll always be around. Won't you show me what you found, girl, ooh, girl, I want you. knock down the old gray wall and be a part of it all. Nothing to say, nothing to see, nothing to do. If you would give me all, like I would give it to you, nothing would be, nothing would be, nothing would be. No matter where you go, there'll always be a place. Can't you see it on my face, girl? Ooh, girl, I want you. Knock down the old gray wall and be a part of it all. Nothing to say, nothing to see, nothing to do. If you would give me all, like I would give it to you, nothing would be, nothing would be, nothing would be. No matter what you are, I'll always be with you. No matter what you do, girl, ooh, girl, I'm with you. Ooh, girl, you, girl, I want you. Ooh, girl, you, girl, I want you. Okay, thanks guys. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.